What's up, y'all? Think about the last time you saw someone watching a game. Fourth quarter, 5 seconds on the clock. They are standing 2 inches from the TV screen, veins popping out of their necks, screaming at the top of their lungs, and then the buzzer sounds. A shot goes in. They erupt. They are high-fiving strangers. They're yelling, "We did it! We won!" But let's strip away the emotion for a second and look at this situation with absolute cold logic. We won. You didn't run a single sprint. You didn't call a play. You didn't log any hour of practice. And you for sure aren't getting a championship ring or a multi-million-dollar bonus check. You were sitting on a couch eating chips. Physically, biologically, historically, you did nothing. So why does your brain feel like you just conquered the world? Why does your heart rate spike? Why is your mood for the next 48 hours dictated by what a group of strangers did with a ball on a field miles away? Because logic has nothing to do with it. What you are witnessing isn't just entertainment. It's an ancient, deeply coded psychological phenomenon. And today, we're breaking down the exact mechanics of why brains hijack someone else's victory. But we aren't just talking about sports, because if you think this tribal mindset is limited to a stadium, you're missing the bigger picture. This exact same psychological programming is driving the entire world of high-end fashion and streetwear. Welcome back to SUPEREMINENT. Let's dive in. To understand why we care so much, we have to look backward. Thousands of years backward. Humans are by design deeply social creatures. Throughout human history, if you were isolated, you died. Survival didn't depend on how strong you were individually. It depended on how strong your community was. Our brains are wired to reward us for group success because a victory for your community meant safety, resources, and dominance. Fast forward to the modern world, we don't rely on those close-knit communities for daily survival anymore. We live in comfortable apartments, we buy our food at grocery stores, and we work behind screens. But that deeply rooted biological programming didn't just disappear. It's still sitting in your DNA, starving for expression. Sports teams became the modern civilized manifestation of the tribe. When you choose a team, or when you were born into one, your brain does something fascinating. It stops drawing a hard line between me and them. It merges the two identities into a single collective us. Psychologists call this social identity theory. The moment you adopt that identity, the team's status becomes your status. A win for them is coded by your nervous system as a survival victory for the group. You didn't play the game, but your primal brain doesn't care. It says, "Our tribe won. We are dominant. We survived." Now, let's pivot. Take off the sports jersey and look at what you're wearing right now. Fashion operates on the exact same primal wavelength. When you strip away the basic utility of clothing, the fact that it keeps you warm and covers your skin, what is left? Art, status, philosophy. Just like a sports fan wears a jersey to signal their allegiance, we use specific silhouettes, textures, and design languages to signal our membership in a culture. Cultural subculture. When you put on a piece of garment that features a specific, intentional aesthetic, whether it's the stark, uncompromising minimalism of high luxury or the heavy textile armor of elite streetwear, you are putting on your uniform. You are telling the world, without speaking a word, these are my people. This is my mindset. This is my tribe. It builds an instant, unspoken community. If you walk down the street in New York, Tokyo, or Paris and you see someone wearing a rare, high conceptual piece from a designer you deeply respect, you don't just see a stranger. You feel sudden warmth, a connection. You recognize a fellow member of the inner circle. There is a term in psychology that every designer, every marketer, and every fan needs to know. Burgeoning. It stands for basking in reflected glory, Human beings have an innate desire to look good, not just to others, but to themselves. We want to feel elite. And one of the easiest ways our ego accomplishes this is by publicizing our association with successful people or brands. Pay close attention to the language people use. It exposes their entire game. When a sports team wins on Sunday night, the fans show up to work on Monday and say, "Man, we played incredible last night. We shut them down in the second half." But watch what happens when the team loses. The pronoun changes instantly. They don't say we blew it. They say they look terrible. They really messed up that play. In psychology, that counterpart is called corfing, cutting off reflected failure. The ego is a master of self-preservation. It wants to absorb the victory, but completely distance itself from the defeat. Now look at the fashion industry. Tell me this doesn't sound identical. When a visionary creative director takes over a legacy fashion house and pulls off a historic, critically acclaimed runway show, the brand's community celebrates like they were backstage pulling the pins out of the fabric. When a niche, independent brand breaks through the noise and captures the cultural zeitgeist, the early adopters feel an immense surge of personal pride. By buying and wearing that brand, you are burgeoning at the highest level. You are absorbing its cultural capital. Your brain rationalizes it like this. This brand is forward-thinking, exclusive, and fiercely independent. I am wearing this brand. Therefore, I am forward-thinking, exclusive, and fiercely independent. You didn't spend months sourcing the perfect 300 GSM cotton spandex blend. You didn't spend sleepless nights drafting the pattern or balancing the silhouette. But when you put it on, you get to share in the victory of its aesthetic execution. You are basking in the reflected glory of the creator's vision. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about actual brain chemistry. Because this isn't just psychological, it's biological. Your brain possesses a network of cells called mirror neurons. They are one of the most incredible components of human empathy and learning. When you watch someone else perform an action, say an athlete, making an impossible, gravity-defying catch in the end zone, your mirror neurons fire in the exact same regions of your brain that would light up if you were the one sprinting and catching the ball. You are quite literally experiencing a neurological echo of the physical triumph. Your body is sitting still, but your mind is running the race. And that physical echo unleashes a chemical cocktail straight into your bloodstream. First comes the dopamine. Dopamine isn't actually the chemical of pleasure. It's the chemical of anticipation and pursuit. The unpredictability of a live game, the fact that you don't know if the next play will be a disaster or a miracle, creates a massive dopamine loop. And when the victory is secured at the final buzzer, the floodgates open. But it gets wilder. Studies have tracked the hormone levels of sports fans during major games. When their favorite team wins, the fans experience a measurable, significant spike in testosterone. When they lose, their testosterone drops. Think about how profound that is. You are not just a spectator. You are a biological participant. The outcome of the game alters your actual chemical makeup. In fashion, we experience the exact same neurochemical roller coaster, but we call it by a different name. Researchers call it enclothed cognition. Enclothed cognition is the proven psychological reality that the clothes you wear physically alter how you think, feel, and behave.